The fire service is a very honorable profession. You look forward to going into work.
The brotherhood of firefighters, there are no boundaries. It doesn't matter who you work for, it doesn't matter what you do, if you're private, a contractor, or if you're a municipality, we're all firefighters.
This is an industrial fire department. We don't have elderly populations, we don't have children, we have rockets.
I've worked some plane crashes, I've worked some rocket explosions.
You never know what you're really going to find till you get there, and then you deal with it. There's a lot of emotion in your experience as a firefighter. After September 11th, we started taking clippings from the newspaper every day, anything about the firefighters in New York, and we put them on the bulletin board here at the station. After a year or so, we decided to build a memorial case. On the 10th anniversary of 9/11, came up with the idea to build the plaque that's there.
We heard that pieces of the World Trade Center were being offered to fire departments as memorials.
At that point, we decided we would try to get an artifact.
We did some research. We found out what the steps would have to be.
And we started trying to contact the people in New York.
Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, submit requests.
With no success at all. About 6 months ago, they contacted us and said that they had the artifact for us.
So we decided as TWU to dive into the project a little more and give it every bit of the help that it needed.
It all started off as a dream.
Visiting Rescue 1 Firehouse kind of started our journey.
To actually see how the city of New York, does their business, and to realize we have a large, spacious fire station here. Compared to that, you really do have to get along with your brothers and your sister firefighters if you're going to be in quarters that close.
There's a lot of history in that department, there's a lot of history in that house.
On 9/11, Rescue 1 lost 11 members of their unit. We were able to stand outside and read the names of those fallen heroes and look at the pictures.
That was probably the first part of the trip that made me feel like this is really something bigger than I anticipated.
Well, a piece of the World Trade Center is making its way to South Florida from New York. American Airlines is handling the transport of this piece of U.S. history.
Today we're at JFK Airport.
When you go to the George Washington Bridge, the Lincoln Tunnel, our headquarters down in Jersey City, this flag is flying everywhere. From us to you, we want you guys to have this. We operate JFK Airport, the Port Authority, and our role here today is to help get the artifact from point A to point B. We coordinated all of that with the tower.
I knew it was a big project, but it wasn't until they put us on a bus and we actually had received the artifact. That's the moment where I realized we are doing something probably bigger than I've ever done in my entire life, especially for my local.
It was incredible when they took it out of the hangar and brought it towards us.
It actually took my breath away.
It was so quiet. As I looked at my brother firefighters, the crew working the ground.
It was an incredibly emotional experience. I had to step away. It was difficult.
The first thing I did is went over and put my hand on it. I had trouble taking my hand off. If you look at the gloves that I've been wearing, they're soiled with 9/11.
When you actually touch that beam, it does something to you, especially if you're a firefighter.
The hardest thing when that was all going on was to not go there, feeling like I just didn't do anything on that day. Trying to connect people to that day, maybe that's the part that I can do.
We wanted to honor the artifact.
We brought it upon ourselves that the time that anybody was handling it, we were going to be there and have the most distinct honors for it.
We wanted to show the proper respect to the citizens of New York, brother firefighters and police officers, transit workers, Port Authority.
We were paying so much attention to the honor and respect of that artifact, even though a lot of people say, well, it's just a piece of metal. It's more than a piece of metal to us.
We draped it with an American flag and we cinched it up on American Airlines cargo unit, and we made our way across the tarmac to American Airlines cargo.
Today I was lucky enough to be the driver. It was given a tremendous escort.
I saw probably a couple hundred American Airlines employees standing outside.
Members from 501, 591, 504, 570, everybody was out there.
Some of them retired service members standing at salute, some of them in tears, some of us in tears.
Water cannons from the fire department.
This is part of them. It's embedded into all these people.
I'll remember it forever. It's amazing that it was, you know, some 14 years ago now, but it was just like yesterday.
A young man who worked for American Airlines came up to me. He was a TWU member, and he had a picture in his hand. He explained to me that it was his brother-in-law, Captain Patrick Brown.
Former captain of the tree truck in Manhattan.
And that he was lost in the World Trade Center Tower 2. He asked me if I would take the picture home, and I immediately walked to the beam and set it on the beam. So when we cased in that artifact, he would make that journey home back to Florida.
I'd also like to offer a special thanks to TWU Title II members from both facility and automotive maintenance for coordinating all of the logistics for today's event and for handcrafting the shipping container to transport the steel itself.
We needed something to ship the piece in because it's a fairly large artifact. It weighs close to 2,000 pounds. And the length made it very difficult for us to transport it directly out of JFK.
I decided to use aluminum angle line. That way it's finished edges and it makes it also stronger. On the bottom we have 2x4s and 4x4s.
Once we get the artifact into the crate, we will secure it, we'll seal it. It'll remain here overnight. Tomorrow morning we'll be here at 4 a.m.
Today is the start of a 3-day journey that will take this historic artifact first by truck from American Airlines JFK cargo to American Airlines Philadelphia cargo.
Local 504 is very proud to be part of this. We're honored to have anything to do with handling the transit through the Philadelphia airport.
And then loaded onto American Airlines Flight 1195 from Philly to Miami. Thank you to American Airlines for stepping up and helping ship this World Trade Center artifact.
They signed the sign that went on the side of our artifacts box. Since day one, we've been collecting those signatures, making sure that everybody felt that they were part of this project.
Everybody wanted to show their respects, like when the captain got on.
We are honored to transport a memorial I-beam from the World Trade Center. American Airlines, in coordination with the Transport Workers Union, we just had a water cannon salute from local Philadelphia Fire and Rescue.
Each day, we took the time to kind of reflect on where we had come from and where we were going.
We also wanted to recognize the way that we've come together to do this. You know, I said a prayer just asking for, you know, a safe journey, that things would go well to get it to its final resting place. It was a solemn moment for us, just us.
A beam from the World Trade Center flew into Miami International Airport.
TWU Local 568 will be standing by to offload.
From organizing with the county and the different government agencies that were involved all the way down to the crew on the gate, it was our honor and privilege to be able to move this piece along on its journey.
Urban search and rescue teams in Miami, there's 2 of them. Both of them spent time on the pile. You know, they had lived it. When they asked me what I wanted to do, I said, it's not what I want to do. You do what you want to do.
We're very proud to have had an opportunity to participate.
The beam will remain at a cargo facility here at the airport until it begins its journey to Kennedy Space Center by ground tomorrow.
A special procession from Miami will carry the beam up the east coast of Florida.
Our experience in getting this artifact was unique in the way that it was brought back, that allowed a lot of people to be able to connect to that moment.
Along the route to Kennedy Space Center, we were joined by a host of fire trucks, more than 100 motorcycle riders, all different kind of clubs. The procession was probably a half a mile long, and almost every overpass that we went under was some sort of fire truck, fire rescue truck.
It's the honorable thing to pay your respects to a fallen firefighter, to form up in an intersection on a bridge and give a salute when they go by.
There was always multiple firemen standing at attention, saluting that artifact as it went underneath.
It touches your heart because you're like, hey, there's engine 26, there's engine 29.
It was nice to see the brotherhood there, and they knew what it meant.
The citizens out there, you know, standing there with flags and some saluting and putting their hands over their hearts.
When you see a little boy with his father, it was difficult.
It makes you realize how much people want to just connect to it.
We then created the artifact outside of Kennedy Space Center to make sure that all the riders had a chance to put their eyes on that beam and lay their hand on it and kind of share the same experience we did for the past 3 days.
It is a big firefighter memorial, but it's for everybody.
Especially the people in New York and Philadelphia who are closest to it. I saw it in their eyes, in the hangar at JFK, on the tarmac in Philly, in Miami when we offloaded it.
Meeting all the different members from the different TWU locals, talking to people and sharing stories.
To see the brotherhood and sisterhood of TWU to different parts of the country.
From getting it loaded to getting it transported to receiving it, the collaborative effort on the part of the TWU was just phenomenal.
By far, this is one of my most treasured and honored things that I've ever done as a union official at the Transport Workers Union.
One of the things that President Lombardo wanted us to do was to unify all these divisions. This week showed that it works.
United Invincible, that's the way to go.
It's been a long 3 days.
We went on a journey. It took several years to get there. We worked together.
The dreams that we had for all these years, it's here.
We take that artifact in the highest regard.
It's the first thing they see when they get to work, and it's the first thing they see when they leave on a call.
It's just very moving to have that piece.
Made me cry.
And the artifact was laid at rest. We ended it with the fireman's prayer.
When I am called by duty, God, whenever flames may rage,
give me the strength to save some life, whatever be its age.
Help me embrace a little child before it's too late.
Or some older person from the horror of that fate.
Enable me to be alert and hear the weakest shout.
And quickly and efficiently to put the fire out.
I want to feel my calling.
And give the best in me.
Guard my every neighbor and to protect his property.
And if according to my fate, I am to lose my life, please bless with your protecting hand my children and my wife.